or maybe you can say sustainable farming.
Yeah. But then sustainable farming doesn't come unless, you know, the entire, it is a part of sustainable living, you know. Yeah. So I think you should, we need to just go back a little bit. I should say like a few years back. No, a few decades back. Okay. To you know, they are building sustainable villages and all of those things, but I think, you know, they should really look into skill development. You know, like giving them the infrastructure is a good thing, but to connect them to the towns and whatever. But I think that, you know, if they don't need so much of connection, you know, what they need is to be just left alone and giving them their skills back. You know, they were just they were very sufficient with their medicines, they were very sufficient with their food, they were very sufficient with their clothing, they were very sufficient with all of those things, you know. Just leave them alone, man. I mean, just give them a little bit of I mean, they don't need your crores and crores to be invested. I think all they need is a good teacher. The education system, if taken care of, they don't need to walk kilometers and, you know, leave their places and go out of their cities to study. And as we discussed, you know, so much of the money from the village is going out, you know. That's where we want, you know, local currencies to come into play. I mean, we don't want money to leak out of the village, you know. So we want it like a tight basket. Like,
oh, that's very nice. You are talking about local currency. I mean, that sounds very interesting this morning for all our audience. Can you say something more about the local currency, how it works and what it is?
So,
and how it is different from the currencies that we are used to.
So basically the whole concept is that that, you know, whatever the money is again invested and reinvested back into the community. I mean, it should not leave the community. If somebody is producing something in your community and you go and buy it from somebody else, you know, that is like, you know, giving of your wealth, a part of your wealth which could have come back to your community and reinvested. And, you know, that's what sustainable living is all about, right? So
it's meaning that creating some sort of interdependencies within the community and reducing the dependence on the outside communities.
Exactly. And, you know, it also brings back, like, I think these days, you know, money has just replaced community, money has replaced skill, money has replaced people. So money actually becomes the best friend of somebody, you know. First, you know, you were my best friend, or this guy, you know, was my best friend. But now, you know, money is my best friend, you know. It creates, and there is nothing like a gift economy anymore. All I do is for intention and a profit. I mean, you know, I'm not giving it because, you know,
you want to hold it.
You know,
because you love money, you want to hold it.
Hold it, exactly. You know, and, you know, first there was like a sharing of seeds, sharing of knowledge, but now you have to buy the seeds from outside. So, you know, you need that money. Okay, again, that money comes into role. So all of these things are, you know, it's like really getting us nowhere.
So are there any other organizations wherein you got in touch with and, you know, in quest of understanding the reasons underlying in the whole, you know, disaster that we are currently facing, just not in India, across the world?
So one of them, it was Navdanya, but after that that was just a beginning, you know, like they sow the seed. But later on I got acquainted, like I have been following Art of Living, and I started talking with the Agriculture Trust over there, and they have a beautiful course for agriculture policy. And what policy basically, I mean, you know, as urbanites you cannot go and farm. See, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to leave my life and my comforts and, you know, start farming without any knowledge of farming. okay, I mean, it's good to sow some pots at your place and get a good vegetables, but okay, I'm not going to do rice or paddy or grow all of these things at my place, because I don't have the constraints. But
that's you give me a scope to ask you a very tricky question. On one side, you have a lot of concern for the farming community, and you have been able to analyze what are the factors that have affected our life, and then at the same time, you don't like to come out of your comfort zone of your urban life or whatever it is. But what do you think, in what way, in what productive way you can really contribute in bettering the life of the farming community?
Yeah, so right now the policies are such that they are not favoring organic farming. So and also as a consumer also, I want to buy that organic food. Okay, I'm really tempted to buy it because I know the benefits of it. But look at the cost. I mean, it's 3 times or 2 times more than the regular produce, But what is the true cost? We are paying a lot for that chemical loaded food to come. It is not the cost that is written on the label is not the true cost. There is a lot of, if you go to see, I mean, we have really paid a lot in that, and so as a consumer.
Are you talking about something, the distance that is involved before the food reaches the consumer? You're talking something about what is known as food miles?
Food miles, yeah. So the food miles, I mean, obviously, it is also a very big issue where because the food is traveling so much, it is actually hampering our environment. But also because it is traveling so much,
because of fossil fuel, that is
the fossil fuels, that is involved in the transportation. Yes. But apart from that, also that food, I mean, if you have to store this, you need a lot of preservatives, and I think we are by choosing to eat that, I mean, we are just helping the preservative industry, I mean, why are we doing that also? Instead, I can just put my money in organic food, but then again, I want the government to support it, to subsidize it, and that's where the policy comes into play. So to make the entire thing viable, see, even to make this pesticide, fertilizer, seed corporations viable, and that the government subsidize them. So now we want a system which is ecological, and we want the government to make it viable, So what is wrong with that?
Yeah, that's very true. When a government invests something like 1,50,000 crores, so subsidize fertilizers and pesticides, and just about 300 and odd crores for organic farming, that definitely drives us to think on those lines. Well, if you prefer to have more support for organic farming, especially to make the livelihoods of the farmers better, and also to help the consumers eat the better stuff, what do you think are the right kind of measures the government should do? 1, 2, 3, 4. The first one.
The first one would be a shift in the subsidies.
Yeah.
What else can the government do? There's a lot for us to do.
Yes. So what you try to say now is we need to minimize the interference of the government in the food production. That's what you want to say?
Yeah, and
like for example, we have about 670 Krishi Vijnana Kendras. We have quite a number of agriculture universities in this country, and each one of them, in a way, are supported by the multinational corporations like Monsanto, Syngenta, and Bayer. All these companies have been pumping a lot of money, and that is why they do influence the government to have more subsidies for use of the chemical pesticides or fertilizers. Right. So you think therefore the government should not really encourage it through their institutions like Krishi Vijnana Kendras or agriculture universities, where basically it's a group of these universities, KVKs, and the multinational companies, they are pushing their products utilizing the government route.
Yeah.
So therefore you prefer to have less interference of the government?
Yeah, I mean, you know.
So therefore, if the farmers need to be supported by the government, you know, a policy environment that you would like now to have, that can be something like.
Apart from that, you know, I want the government to really help each community start a seed bank. You know, a seed bank is something like, you know, which is their own thing. You know, they have, again, we have to, like, we need a shift, you know, a paradigm shift, that I'll call that. You know, we need to shift back the power to the community again.
So you mean that the seeds, which now the farmers are dependent on the multinational companies or the seed corporations of the state or the nation. So the seeds, they should generate on their own. That's what you want to say?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, if you give them the right infrastructure to store their seeds, to you know, preserve them, then I think, you know, that would be a good start. Apart from that, you know, they can start farmers markets. They can, you know, give them a platform where they can get their produce and get a proper price for the produce. And probably they can cut down on the middlemen. That can be done by the government. And also try and do community supported agriculture, like promote that concept of community supported agriculture, where like a group of people come together to support a farmer and take his produce, like and that will make, you know, if you are signing a contract, like, you know, we have a lady and you know, she has signed a contract with like 20 families to give them the produce. Now, you know, this makes her income very stable, you know, because she knows whatever she is going to produce is going to be taken by those 20 families. Unlike where, you know, with the farmers right now, it's like, you know, they are producing, but when they go to the market, they are like, you know, they are exploited.
They are exploited, and well, they cannot dictate the price.
Right, exactly.
Is that the case that you, maybe I think you are referring to Nirmala Annegowda, where she, I am told, supporting 20 families. Well, she fixes the prices there.
Yeah, it is her, because, you know, I think farming is the only business where you know, the price of the commodity is not fixed by the farmer but by somebody else. You know, if I'm selling this book, I fix the price of this book, you know. But you know, with a farmer, you know, he's growing everything and somebody else fixes the price for him. How does that person even know that what was the cost of the input, you know? It was not even, he was not there when he was farming, he was not there when he was doing all of his hard work, or when he was putting his sweat and blood into the soil, you know, he was not there to see all of those things. So how is he even eligible to fix the price for that?
Very true.
So, you know, I think community supported agriculture is a very, very beautiful concept. And apart from doing all of that, you know, I really think the urbanites should also start growing something themselves.
Oh, you mean they should start something in the backyard, or if they have some terrace, they can have some terrace gardening, at least to meet immediate requirements of certain herbs and vegetables.
Of course, you know, I think if even if, you know, you can grow a little bit of medicinal plants in your family, you won't be depending so much on the pharmaceuticals anymore. You know, that will be a little bit of trying to become independent, sort of.